The story about AI that really has me steamed or stunned, whatever, is the one from Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas, who upgraded Tesla from hold to buy because he says Tesla could be a tech company, and if it can tap its own super brain Dojo, yes, Dojo, that's it, right? Then it could be like Amazon Web Services, and therefore the company could be worth $500 billion more than its current valuation because of Dojo. Look, I like Adam Jonas, but he missed the entire run in Tesla that came from being a car company. Maybe he's just getting ahead of the next leg higher as a supercomputer company, one that could possibly challenge NVIDIA down the road. That's why Tesla stock went up 10% today while NVIDIA stock went down. I'm not convinced of it. Any company that needs to sort and process gigantic amounts of data will need artificial intelligence to stay ahead of its competitors. Any company that has a ton of expensive smart coders will find that they aren't as smart as a tower of NVIDIA's cards linked together. But I got to find this out with my own. I got to see it, okay? I've come right here to see it.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patrons, Mike F. and Avinash G. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. So, Cramer, you said you need to see Tesla Dojo to believe it. Well, here you go, pal. Nowadays, the buzzword is artificial intelligence, and yes, Tesla is a major player in the space, and that's a huge part of its future. But we cannot forget about Tesla's manufacturing prowess, because right now, that's really a big reason why Tesla is so differentiated from legacy auto. The clips you're about to see are from a company called Caresoft. They specialize in vehicle teardowns and benchmarking. I think there are a few really key points in this video that are going to go overlooked, so I want to slow down and make sure that we understand what's really going on. Because under all of the production and sales numbers that we continually see growing, there's a reason why and how Tesla is able to actually do this. First, what we're looking at is a torn down Model Y, and we're going to start with the front. Right here, you're looking at the cooling beam, which holds the condenser, the compressor, and the octavalve. The beam is actually common across all different Tesla models using exactly the same beam. And don't miss this point though, as you're about to see all of the bolts to put this in place go in from the top down, making assembly much easier. And yes, perhaps easy enough for someone or something like Optimus. And notice how the beam just rests in place, so one person or one robot could do this assembly. Here you see the top down where the bolts go, very easily accessible.
And do you think that this could be done by robots in the future?
Maybe, yes.
Here you're looking at a design from Tesla that they're calling Poka-Yoke, just means it can only go in one way, meaning you cannot install this improperly because of the way it's designed. We also have 5 different tubes that can actually be fastened with only 2 bolts. And it gets even better as we continue on with this modular assembly approach. In this part, they don't have any fasteners. It literally just snaps right into place, always focusing on removing as many parts as possible. And for this next part, pay attention how you can just set it right on top of the cooling beam and it'll sit there again waiting to be bolted down, which would allow one person to do this.
Okay.
And then with this front frame, you bring it over and slide it right into place. But again, you can just set it exactly where it needs to go. It'll stay set in place. And then you just have the top down bolts. Now moving to the back of the vehicle, he has the insulation in his hands and he's just going to set it right in place again with no fasteners, essentially making this modular system dummy proof.
Again, the same for this part. So you just snap in.
Snap in.
All. Yes.
No fasteners.
No fastener. So the cable is aluminum cable, so is lighter. But the most important thing is that aluminum is much more cheaper than copper. Copper, yeah. Yes.
And they also shaped
yes.
wires so they fit right into the rear end.
Exactly.
There's no loose wires. It just goes exactly where it's supposed to go.
They look for rigidity, so tomorrow, if they need to automatize the operation, it will be easier.
Do it with a robot.
Yes, exactly.
Here's another part of the rear assembly. You just slide it right into place and you have that beautiful snap fit.
We have the container here, so you just put inside. The shape take care that is aligned, and You put the 4 fastener and that's all.
And again, the bolts come in from the top, very easy
Yes,
to do.
exactly. And the same for the insulation. Crash beam. So there is also poka-yoke here. You save 1 and 2 fasteners.
So instead of 3 bolts or 4 bolts,
4 bolts,
they're using
you have
3.
3. Yes.
But they poka-yoked it, so it only
Yes.
goes in the right way.
I cannot reverse it.
No.
Okay, will not fit. Okay, and that's also, these are the only horizontal bolts that we can find in the back. So we have the rear fascia. It's very light. You have only 1 connection here, and if you want, I can also put it on.
And there you go, 1 person. Usually it takes 2 people, 1 on each side to do it.
And that's all. We have assembled the car.
Think about what we just saw. With no formal education, I probably could have walked up to that car and assembled the Model Y without any instruction. But further than that, it's Tesla's continuous innovation to reduce the amount of parts, reduce the number of fastener points, make the assembly process as easy as possible, potentially paving the way for Optimus to be more involved, to keep the production line moving 24/7. And the fact that Tesla can share so many parts across its lineup of models gives them much more negotiating power with its suppliers that again are more like partnerships than just suppliers. So there might actually be some Lego products out there that are more complicated than putting together a Tesla Model Y. I really think one of the keys to unlocking our full potential in life is to learn how to optimize our energy levels. How many times have we had ambitions or ideas that we don't follow through on due to a lack of energy to execute? Everyone's body is different, and we all have tendencies to be more nutrient deficient with certain vitamins than others. But what I can say is that AG1, the sponsor of this video, has been a quick and easy way for me to ensure I'm avoiding any nutrient gaps that could be causing daily fatigue. B12 deficiencies have been studied and are fairly common and can cause anemia, plus certain illnesses like IBD can decrease absorption. AG1 has you covered with over 900% of the daily value per serving. One of my favorite things about AG1 though is much lesser known. Most Americans eat a sodium to potassium ratio of around 5:1. It's actually supposed to be the reverse. AG1 is also on the money here with 300 milligrams of potassium and 45 milligrams of sodium in each serving. I could go on, but for now, I'll just say I do really think AG1 is worth a shot for a few months if you have the funds to see what it could do for you. You can head to drinkag1.com/electrified, linked below, to get 5 travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 K2 for free. In recent years, $154 billion worth of EV investments have generated 188,000 jobs, according to Blue Green Alliance Foundation and Atlas Public Policy's data. Further, from the BLS, from a total of 319 facilities, 32% are located among disadvantaged communities, and 25% of the facilities are unionized, more than double the US average of 10%. When it comes to EV-related jobs, look at how far we've come. In 2010, there were just 3 facilities accounting for 2,700 jobs. Since then, the figure has soared to nearly 80,000 jobs added in 2022 alone from 101 facilities, Tesla, of course, making up a significant portion of that. Before I even say it, I would be very careful with this one, but we have a Reuters article saying that Tesla and its suppliers are planning to invest $15 billion over the next 2 years on Giga Mexico, this coming from the state governor. But remember, all of the headlines recently have been negativity and delays around Giga Mexico, so this could be the governor trying to save face and spin the narrative. I will say though, because they said Tesla and its suppliers, that would open up more of a possibility for this to be accurate. The last number we heard was $5 billion, but I'll just say this, I think there's a chance Tesla doesn't even know yet what it'll be spending on Giga Mexico, because remember, they're still designing this next-gen manufacturing line in Austin. So if these words are indeed from Samuel Garcia, in my book, over the past few months, he's lost at least a little bit of credibility. This next section is an excerpt from the Elon Musk biography, so if you don't want to spoil the read, then go ahead and skip through. Timestamps are always below. I don't think this will come as a huge surprise, but when it comes to the Cybertruck design, Franz said a majority of the people in this studio hated it. They were like, you can't be serious. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. It was just too weird. Some of the engineers actually started covertly designing another version of the pickup after they saw the first mock-up. This is an instance where Elon chose not to back down and not to listen to feedback. He didn't want to hear concerns about the Cybertruck, saying, I don't do focus groups. Then he told Franz he wanted a drivable version of the truck that he could demo at the Tesla event in November, which Franz said forced the team to come together to work 24/7. We've known Elon has thought traditional pickup trucks are boring, and the Cybertruck certainly is many things, but that's not one of them, and we're about to find out if Elon was right in this decision. FSD and Chill has shared that there's now a pilot release of a new feature for the Tesla app where you can actually add your wall connector as a product, allowing for some more features. Right now, this is only available for Canadians and Australians, but a wider release is coming soon. He says in the Tesla app, it shows the actual car while charging. And you can now set the wall connector to have its own charging schedule, so you can restrict charging to a set time window if you have a time of use rate plan. So remember, if you don't have this yet, a wider release is coming soon. We got the Tesla China weekly insurance number, and it came in at 10,700. Plugging that data into the table, comparing it to the same week in Q2, that number was 16,400. Looking at the first 10 weeks of Q2, we were at 110.7 thousand, and comparing that to the first 10 weeks of Q3, we're now at 111.7 thousand, slightly ahead of pace. Coming into Q3, our expectations should have been a relatively flat Q3 because on the Q2 call, Elon and team said they were going to have line shutdowns for factory upgrades. And for the slowdown the past 2 weeks, don't forget the new Model 3 was not fully homologated yet, so they couldn't have domestic deliveries, but that has changed. Tesla Chan has reported China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has approved the application for Tesla China's new Model 3 Highland, meaning Tesla has the green light to sell this new vehicle in the domestic market. On the news, Car News China is saying they expect the new Model 3 to hit the market in October in China. That could be because most of the new Model 3s being produced from Giga Shanghai right now are for export to the European market. With this approval, they're saying the rear-wheel drive variant still uses LFP cells, and the all-wheel drive dual motor will use NMC batteries from LG. And they're saying the upgraded Model 3 is 26 millimeters longer, or about 1 inch. We're slowly starting to get some information on the Tesla Semi at the Run on Less electric event that'll be running for the next 3 weeks. This link will be below, and you can filter by the different day and the different companies that are involved. Day 1 for PepsiCo, their Tesla vehicle number 1 did 416 total miles and 3 deliveries over that span. They also share these charts where you can see the battery charge in the darker blue and the speed of the truck in the lighter blue. So if we hover around right here, around 12, the battery percentage was about 20%. So if we go up to roughly 80%, it was about 1 o'clock, so roughly 1 hour to charge from 20 to 80%. Honestly, this dashboard isn't the greatest, but I suppose it's better than nothing. I won't draw too many conclusions. We're only 2 days in. We have about 19 more, but again, just wanted to put this on your radar. For that Tesla Semi number 1, 65% of the time, the speed was around 62 miles per hour. The problem with this data right now is, as far as I can tell, we don't know how much load these Tesla Semis were actually carrying, which would obviously change the magnitude of the performance. So again, much more data to come in the days ahead, but for the first 2 days, everything seems right on par about what we would expect. I did see some other people blasting Nikola because their vehicles, looking at the data, were doing about 61 miles per day, but they also did 17 deliveries, so I'm pretty sure these trucks are geared for much more short distance deliveries. Just in case any of you are looking for a job, if you've been watching Electrified for more than about 2 weeks, you could have a job as a Wall Street analyst. We have this. RBC analyst just wrote, unlike legacy OEM peers in the United States who are pursuing joint ventures to make battery cells, Tesla is going solo, which should enable it to capitalize on IRA credits more than any other automaker and even be a tier 1 battery supplier. They also highlight how Giga Nevada is set to expand from about 38 gigawatt hours of capacity now up to 100 gigawatt hours, but that difference will be made up mostly from 4680 production. I just see these and shake my head because honestly, this has been public information now for a long time, yet now they're using this data to boost their price target after the stock runs up. It's just ridiculous. It looks like Chris from Dirty Tesla is going to the Detroit Auto Show. He shared this, showing that Tesla will indeed be giving rides, not sure in what vehicle, but hopefully we get some cool footage from the event. In the event you're a Model S or X Plaid owner, you should be getting a new email about some upgraded brake kits and calipers. We're now about 2 days away from a possible UAW strike, and for the first time that I've seen, it looks like the UAW is softening its stance. Previously, they were asking for 45% plus in terms of pay raises. Now they've dropped that to the mid-30s. We don't need to get into the details of the negotiations because they're still going back and forth at an accelerated pace, but the contracts do expire this Thursday night. Thousands of GM dealers have been frustrated by logistical bottlenecks, resulting in them not getting vehicles to their lots fast enough. So GM has offered to pay dealerships up to $1,050 for each vehicle they pick up from 4 of its most important assembly plants. More than 3,100 retailers have taken up the automaker on its offer this year to collect 25,000 cars and trucks so far. Speaking of dealers, at a recent panel for the transition to EVs, we have one dealer representative saying the dealers didn't feel like it was their role to tell a customer what they need to do for their garage when it comes to EVs. But the customers don't know what to do, so we had to adapt at the dealership level to try to become experts on that as well. So whether it's a lack of EV supply or a lack of EV education at the dealers, there's a reason the transition in the United States to EVs is going slower than some other places. But how about this one? They were complaining about the affordability of EVs, and they said dealers are at a disadvantage because Elon Musk can push Tesla price cuts through instantly, which is not an option for the dealer body. To that, I would push back a little bit because I've seen plenty of EVs with dealer markups that are not some sort of requirement. They could easily have brought those down to sell more models. And then they said, we're urging some legislators to put a moratorium on the income-based formula for incentives to make it open again for a certain period of time so that everyone is able to get them. Today, we got a press release from BMW talking about a new partnership between BMW, Ford, and Honda, creating a company called ChargeScape focused on optimizing EV grid services. This will be an equally owned company that will create a single cost-effective platform connecting electric utilities, automakers, and interested EV customers. Operations will start in the US and Canada, and they'll focus on enabling EV customers to earn financial benefits through a variety of managed charging and energy sharing services. It should be noted this is pending regulatory approvals, but they could be operational early next year. They said ChargeScape's platform will give EV utilities access to EV battery energy across a wide pool of EVs. They'll offer EV customers the ability to charge at grid-friendly times with scheduling, and EV owners will be able to share the energy stored in their EV batteries with the grid during times of peak demand through vehicle to grid. So, sounds great. Now let's see if they can execute. Sometimes we just have to give people their flowers. Tony Seba posted in his 2014 book, Clean Disruption, he said lithium-ion batteries would cost around $100 per kilowatt hour by the end of this year. And if you've been watching my videos for the past week, you will know we just talked about benchmark mineral intelligence reporting that has just actually happened. If Tony Seba isn't somebody that you listen to, I would recommend that you start if you have the time. I just got this email from Tesla. On September 24th, 2012, they opened their first supercharger. This week, they opened their 50,000th, and they're just getting started. And don't ever let it be lost on you the risk that Tesla and Elon were taking starting this project back in 2012. What's that the kids say? Scared money don't make no money? You may recall earlier this year, one of Tesla's suppliers in China, LG, was in active discussions with Tesla about supplying Tesla with batteries from its upcoming factory in Arizona. Then in March, we heard that LG was going to nearly 4x its investment in this Arizona factory due to strong demand. There were actually two separate plants that they were planning, one LFP cells for battery energy storage and one cylindrical cells 2170s for EVs. Now, LG is saying that advanced LFP cell design and localizing production are among the chief strategies for differentiation in the US for LG. I've been watching this one closely and we finally got an update. LG confirmed it will reach 16 gigawatt hours of annual production capacity for cells and packs when fully ramped in 2026. And today we got clarification on the investment from LG. It looks like $2.3 billion will be for the energy storage system factory, and the remainder will be for the factory for cylindrical cell production for EVs. Why does this matter? Well, IRA tax credits. LG just confirmed that them and its customers, hint hint Tesla, will benefit from domestic content bonuses available to BESS projects that use products made or majority made in the US. So for Tesla to have LG in the United States focused on localizing its supply chain, that means great things for LG and Tesla. LG said it's on track to do just that, and they will meet the combined domestic supply chain and production line requirement at 55% when it comes into force in 2027. And it gets better. LG said they've been working on a new design of advanced LFP cells, which will be for megapacks and battery storage with a new stacked form factor. So unlike the traditional jelly roll design, cell deformations that occur when charging and discharging happen in a uniform vertical way, which limits their impact on performance. These new advanced LFP cells have already begun rolling off an LG production line in China and will be introduced into the US market in due course. Just in case even one of you have an EV charging cable from GM, particularly the Webasto portable charging cord Gen 3, there has been a recall on that, so I'd be careful using it for now.
This company's valued at $400 billion. That's ridiculous. They sell 450,000 cars a year.
But it's
they have operating
valuation like
margins
a
that
tech
are
company.
collapsing. And okay, sorry.
It's like a tech company. It's like a tech company. It's not being
But it's
valued
not a
like
tech
an
company.
auto company.
98% of
It's
their
not.
gross
I know,
profit
but
in
when you
Q2
think
was from
about
selling cars.
it's a battery company, I know you're going to say they're not making their own batteries.
98% of their gross profit in Q2 was from selling cars. You and others have been saying this is a tech company for the past 5 years. Where is the tech? They're last at FSD. They buy their batteries from other people. This Dojo computer, literally, I just explained to you, it's somewhat of a joke.
They make their own batteries. They also make their own batteries. You can't say that they don't make any of their batteries.
They don't. They buy their batteries from BYD, which is a competitor. I mean,
No, but
they're not.
I mean, we've had on guests.
Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video. If you did, you can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.